Okay, so this might possibly be the worst podcast in the history of humanity, but I'm in the car. I'm on my way to a friend's house. We're going for a walk. It's Sunday, and I just celebrated my 32nd birthday. So I have my AirPods in, the new ones, AirPods 4 Max something. I don't know. I just lost my old ones. And I had 3 pair of them.
Hello, and welcome to Fail to Win, a show where we love to make mistakes and learn from them so you can turn your passion into profits and live life on your own terms. I'm Amy van der Putten from FastForwardAmy, your host and coach, and I'll bring you a new episode with simple strategies every Tuesday.
I noticed that I'd been walking less, also because I wasn't listening to audiobooks and being on my phone calling while walking because I didn't have AirPods anymore. So while the one side of the internet is telling me to don't wear AirPods because they're so bad for your health, I'm kind of like, well, if I don't wear AirPods, I move less. So I don't know what the lesser evil is, but here we are. I want to check what this listens like. I just listened to that piece of audio and it's not terrible, so I'm just going to continue. So my plan was I want to write an Instagram post about 32 lessons I'd love to tell my 16-year-old self. And I was going to voice note it to ChatGPT and record it as voice memo first because I'm driving. But then I thought, you know what? This might be a podcast. So I am basically talking to you as if you're ChatGPT, and I'm just going to walk you through a bunch of life lessons that I'm going to include in an Instagram post. So let's see if this works. And this is going to be one of my birth month posts. I'm just going to walk through all of the lessons, and I'm going to lose track of how many I have, and I'm going to repeat some I already have. They're going to be super random about life, business, sales, sex, dating, whatever. My first life lesson I wish I could tell my 16-year-old self is that if a boy likes you, he'll text you. That's just like my number one rule. If a guy likes you, you probably won't have to wonder if he likes you. He'll make it known. And I think we could eliminate 80% of dating trouble just with that advice. It won't mean that you won't maybe have to, I don't know, pay half on the first date, because I did that and I always expected to go on a date with a guy who'd sweep me off of my feet and who'd pay for everything, but we actually went halfsies. But he will text you after the first date to let you know he likes you. I mean, he won't necessarily say that, but you'll notice. That's just something that could have saved me at least 10 failed situationships. Second life lesson, sleep matters. And if you don't sleep, you're going to fuck up your entire body. Get yourself an Oura ring or something, because time in bed does not mean time slept. And honoring your, getting enough sleeping might be the best thing you could ever do for your health. Third, get grounding sheets for your bed. It will be one of the best investments you'll ever make. Fourth, let me think. Now I feel a lot of pressure because now this has turned into a podcast. Fourth, I think the best things you'll ever do in life and business are the things that are going to be so scary that they'll make you poop your pants. But they're going to be worth it, because every scary thing is going to lead to something bigger and you're just going to learn from it. I think another lesson is that you'll learn more from doing than you'll ever learn from learning. So take action on the thing you're postponing. Another lesson might be that what we dread doing most is usually what we need to do, because the procrastination and the resistance we feel is usually actually worse. Like cleaning up your house feels worse, like dreading it, not doing it, postponing it, than actually just doing that thing. So pick up after yourself. Next, having a set wake-up time will actually help your sleep and day rhythm immensely. Next, don't drink coffee on an empty stomach. Your cortisol levels will thank you. Next, you'll never regret money spent on experiences, but you might regret money spent on material things. Next, hire slow, fire fast. And I think I'd like to add another lesson on top of that, business-wise, that when they tell you what got you here won't get you there, might actually be really wrong, and what got you here might actually be exactly what will get you there. Because the magic you need and the things you're looking for are already within you. Next, surround yourself with people who are further along than you. If you're the smartest person in the room, you are definitely in the wrong room. other people's energy will pull you ahead. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, so choose your circle wisely. Next, if you ever walk out of a room feeling uncomfortable or like dreading that people might be talking about you or stuff like that, you're in the wrong room. Don't walk into that room anymore. It's really hard to break up with friendships and stuff, but life is too short to spend time with toxic people. Definitely. Life's also too short to drink bad wine, by the way. I didn't know I was going to be so fast in these lessons. Probably there's a bunch of much wiser lessons within me, but I already like the ones I recorded. Now that this is a podcast, I feel a lot of pressure to keep on talking. So yeah, maybe I can interlude, I don't know the words, with some of the feelings I have after turning 32. I remember people telling me before I turned 30 that after 30 life gets easier, you struggle less with yourself. And I gotta admit, on Friday, the day before I turned 32, I was lying on the massage table. Oh, another life hack. Invest in massages. Massages? I don't know how to pronounce it. They're really good for your nervous system. Never feel bad about spending money on yourself. You're always a great investment. But I was lying there and was just thinking like, I'm happy and content. So that makes me really happy. I guess another life lesson would be buy the Bitcoin early. Would that be a good life lesson? I was planning to buy Bitcoin when Bitcoin was only at like 500 euros. And I remember wanting to buy the Bitcoin, and systems kept on logging me out and it was so difficult. And I ended up being like, well, if it's this difficult to buy Bitcoin, it's probably the universe telling me I shouldn't buy Bitcoin. And later on, I realized that was actually not that lesson. The lesson was when the going gets tough, you have to persevere. It's not, if things are difficult, for example, you keep getting logged off when you try to pay for something or buy a new course or whatever. Often people think to perceive that as a sign that you shouldn't do it, but it might actually be a sign of the universe asking, how bad do you want it? So it might actually be a sign that you should do it. So that's my life lesson. Is when the going gets tough, it's a sign that you need to keep going at your probably high frequency, and the universe is just testing you to see how badly you want it. Next is gratitude journal. If you're feeling good, if you're feeling bad, start your day and end your day journaling your gratitude. Gratitude and love are the highest frequencies. And if you manage to stay in a frequency of gratitude, you're going to attract so much more goodness into your life. If you're not grateful for what you already have, chances are I'm pretty sure there's not going to be more good coming into your life, which is a really big lesson. Next is if you want to remodel. You're spending so much time in your bedroom, in your bathroom, in your house. Where you spend most of your time has a massive impact on how you feel. So make it a nice space. Take care of your surroundings because they will massively impact how you feel. For me, it's been dreading to spend money on remodeling my house, feeling afraid to spend money on furniture and things, but I've actually never regretted spending time on furniture and the new paint and remodeling, because even though maybe afterwards you're like, that shade could have been a bit more fancier or better, or wow, that bathroom remodel really cost us a lot of money, it is the first thing and the last thing you see every night and day. So yeah, make it a nice space. And it's always a step forward, I think the same goes for the next lesson, which is make your bedroom a really nice space to hang out, which, coincides with the whole sleeping is really important. Yeah. Eat lots of vegetables is my next lesson. I am someone who's always been fairly hungry, and I grew up with 3 brothers, so I've always had a fairly big appetite, but I'm not that tall. So for me, it's really become key to just learn to eat as many vegetables as possible. And not fill my belly up with more carbs, because I actually don't need that many carbs, which has been disappointing to say the least. Next, I think is unless you have a toxic relationship with your family, spend as much time with your family as you can and foster those relationships. I'm currently doing that with my brothers. It hasn't always been easy. I often feel really weird and really different to them. But I've also noticed these past couple of birthdays that although my birthday wishes have gotten bigger from people online, from clients and stuff, my own circle has gotten smaller and very valuable. But it's also made me realize that the people who still, for example, remember it's my birthday are my family and my closest friends that have been with me since, high school. And that brings me to the next lesson, is that relationships might fade, but your friendships are sacred. I've had times in my life when I was dating or when I didn't feel the vibe with my high school friends or whatever, but we've always gotten back together as a group. And to this day, I'm so incredibly grateful to have a friend group, girlfriends, although we are very different, not the same, just like we continue to try to spend time together, and they've known me for half of my life, which is pretty invaluable. So cherish your friendships. They are your home. Next might be, I'm not married yet, but the lesson might be marry your best friend. Well, that might be on my vision board for this year. I'm curious to see if I'm actually going to publish this as a podcast. More lessons, more life lessons. If you want to buy a new car, it's a stupid expense. Like, you should buy a second-hand car if you want to make it a smart financial thing. Buying a new car will cost you 30% of the car's value just the moment you drive it out of the dealership. I made that conscious decision, but after having already made more than enough money to actually pay for it, and I knew it was going to be a luxury expense, but it's definitely an expense, not an asset. Like a liability, not an asset, is what I wanted to say. I think another really big lesson is that there's only two ways to make more profit: either make more or spend less, and spending less is often a very easy overlooked one that people should be more mindful to. Another lesson is when you say yes to others, make sure it doesn't mean you're saying no to yourself. What a bunch of life wisdom in here. There's probably so many other ones. Maybe I should just continue to fill up this list whenever I'm in the car and I'm feeling inspired. Oh, another one is don't take things so personally. I think we often spend a lot of time on drama, taking things personally, messages, things with our in-laws. We choose drama, but I feel like we get to choose to not choose drama. I think I once heard dreams over drama or discipline over drama, and that really, really resonates with me. Like yesterday, I was in a car with my boyfriend and we got a text about something, and I was...
Hey, this is a really quick interruption with a surprise for you. I promise you're gonna love this. I was just in a conversation, actually a power hour, with a client in my mastermind, and we were going through her strategy of how to scale her 6-figure business to 7 figures this year. And I asked her what she wanted, and she said, yeah, I want $1 million, but I also want more time with my kids. I want to stop working evenings and I want to have more energy for what I love doing. And I said, okay, no problem. Let's list out all of your targets. We did exactly that, and then we got to work on the key elements she needs in order to grow her 6-figure business to a 7-figure business this year, and I applied my million methods. Now, we worked on this for a little bit over an hour, and at the end I was like, well, this was really valuable. Why don't I put this into a training to share with my audience? And as you are here on a podcast, I want to offer this to you for free. Now, know that working with me costs $10K for a day. The fact that I'm offering this to you for free is quite a glitch, and I am going to delete this after a while. So if you want my million method training, there is only one way you can access it. It's by going to my Instagram, FastForwardAmy, and DMing me the word method. If you do that, I'm going to send you my quick 24-minute training where I map out exactly how you can grow your online business from 6 to 7 figures this year. So go to my Instagram, FastForwardAmy, DM me the word method, and I'm going to send you the link to this really, really exclusive video training. Okay? Bye!
I felt myself slipping into like, and why does this always go like this? And then I thought, you know what? This is a choice. It's a choice to spend time and energy on stupid tiny shit. Whereas I can choose to be grateful and I can choose to just focus on this wonderful life I get to build. So there's that. Um, and really changing that in my mindset these past couple of years has been key. I think just taking radical responsibility over everything, for your finances, your relationships, your feelings, your health, is just so, so, so important. Um, well, I guess next is one I'm still working on, but when you wake up earlier, your days are much longer and nicer. Ooh, another one. Scrolling doesn't make you happier. When you come home from a fun night out, don't pick up your phone again. Don't scroll. Learn to control your dopamine. Yeah. Take up sports activities with friends. Make your social activities things that aren't just eating and drinking. Your liver and body will thank you. Do lower body exercises because they're going to help you age gracefully. Another one is skincare is a new makeup. I'm so bad at, I always say this, I'm so bad at girly activities like skincare and stuff. Luckily, I have a client who has a skincare institute, Zenza, and they've really been teaching me skincare. But I used to just go to bed without taking off my makeup. Terrible now that I think about it. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Another one is, these rewashable makeup wipes? They changed my life. Now taking off my makeup is actually fun because these are just these cloth ones you can reuse, and you heat them up under hot water and then you take off all of your makeup, and I just love it. Another one is don't take your phone into your bedroom. Take your email off of your phone because you're not ready to answer emails while you're sitting on the toilet. Oh, another one. When you go to the toilet, go to the toilet. Don't do something else while you're on the toilet. Look at it as a mini mindfulness activity. Turn off your notifications except for your sales notifications and phone calls. That's a good one. Because notifications, it's not the notification in and of itself. It's getting back to your work after you've been distracted. That's really, really difficult. I guess I've said cherish your friendships, but I want to say it again. Yeah, I think it's a big one. I think as we get older, it's not going to be more easy to make more friends. I have a very social type of work because I'm a coach, so I speak to sometimes hundreds of people in a week. And so I've found that it's difficult sometimes to keep up with my friendships, but I've really been making more of an effort for these past 3 years to do that better. And yeah, it feels better. I guess another one is if you don't like certain types of activities, like going clubbing or partying, or if an activity requires you to be drunk, you don't need to do it. And for me, that's like, I know a lot of people, they enjoy festivals and going out. And for the longest time, I felt like such a weirdo for not really enjoying those types of really loud, noisy spaces with lots of people. But I've always jokingly said, like, I need to be really drunk to do something like that. But what I've noticed in the past couple of years is that I was actually not kidding. Like, often that is the case. And I actually just noticed that I might not need to, but like, that's how I've always felt like, oh, I can't do something like that fully sober. So I just didn't do those things. And I always felt weird about it. People in my environment made me feel weird about the fact that I'm not the clubbing type of person, that I don't like going out late at night. But I really don't love it as much. I like going for walks, doing active things with my friends, lounging in the middle of the day, not necessarily at 3 a.m. And that is okay. We all enjoy different things. And I think having an aura ring really taught me to respect my introverted time more. So I used to always feel weird for having to recharge by myself, for needing a lot of downtime, for, wanting to lie on the couch for a few hours just simply reading. But my aura ring now indicates it as restored time. And when I do it, like lie on a beach or do non-active stuff, my body I just feel so much better. And I think I've often felt weird for not being as active as other people. But yeah, maybe you're just not as active as other people and you just recharge by being alone. And that's totally fine. Next lesson is business class is infinitely better than economy. It doesn't need to be a life goal to want to fly business class, but it sure is one of mine. When you fly business class, it's like your vacation has already started whilst you're on the plane versus first having to get through the plane, right? Highly recommend giving it a try, but alas, once you go business class, it is really hard to go back. Oh, another life lesson is when you spend a lot of money online or on ads or whatever, make sure you're getting miles for it because miles are gonna get you upgrades and nicer rooms. Partake in loyalty programs wisely. Like that's another lesson I didn't know that could have gotten me a lot in these past couple of years. I now have an American Express Platinum that gets me a gold status at Marriott. That gets me late checkouts, room upgrades, more points, and I really dig it. And I wish I knew about the world of loyalty programs sooner. Another one is paying for convenience is nearly always a good idea. So convenience and access. Paying €10 to not have to stand in line. Fast track at the airport. Love that for me. Getting your groceries delivered. Just like paying for convenience is usually a good idea because the opportunity cost is energy and money. And money can just save you a lot of energy. So money doesn't make another life lesson might be money doesn't make you happy, but it can get you back a lot of energy. Is maybe what I wanna add. Yeah, definitely. People who say money doesn't make you happy. It's definitely true because I've been rich and feeling miserable. But it does help. Money fixes a lot of problems actually. Ooh, don't snooze. Snoozing is starting your day breaking a promise to yourself, which is one of the worst things you can do for your self-esteem, for your confidence in general. This is actually one I learned recently. I'd been struggling on and off with snoozing and not, and recently I listened to the book The Miracle Morning, which was it finally gave me a step-by-step approach on how to stop snoozing, which now I'm really happy about. Okay, I have another one. I'm also seriously wondering if it's a good idea to publish this as an actual episode, but I think I'm just gonna do it. I've been re-listening to some of these parts and I'm like, yeah, this is me. Albeit not in my own language. I think when it comes to business and team management, I'd love to tell my former self that it's not your responsibility to make your team members happy. It's your responsibility to run a profitable, sustainable business that makes an impact. But you can't actually make people happy. People have their own shit they need to manage. And another one, in terms of team, I think is when you become a CEO who manages a team, you need to get a grip on your people pleasing self because people pleasing too much as a boss and team leader might actually cost you your business. Because it's actually your business that you need to make happy, not the people around you. Go to therapy is another lesson. And get a coach and a mentor and never stop working on yourself. I know it's exhausting, but you need to do it, especially if you want to, be successful or hone in on your ambition. Working on yourself is just simply going to be something you need to do. What I would have told my 16-year-old self, well, I started weight training decently at 18, but if I could have started at 16, that would have been even better. I guess I'd also like to tell my previous self that it's okay if you suck at running. Maybe try swimming. So good. I guess I'd also tell my younger self wear protection always, or have someone else wear protection is what I meant by that. I'm being really honest. I've always said I don't really regret things, only men. One thing that just popped up into my brain is definitely something, I wouldn't take back. But if you've been following me for a long time, I dated someone for almost 3 years who had kids. what just popped up in my brain was, and this is going to be very controversial, and I probably won't publish this anywhere else but here, but it would be, don't fall in love with someone who has kids, because when you separate, it's going to break your heart. It still breaks my heart every day that I miss those kids. There's that. After that breakup, I was also like, I'm never dating anyone with kids ever anymore. Hardest breakup of my life. And I still think about those two every day. So, you can't actually redo life. I wouldn't want to redo life, but that is definitely something. I know people told me, and people tell you, like, oh, being in a relationship with someone with kids, there's always going to be someone else in the picture, namely the partner, the previous partner, and the parents of the kids, of course. But maybe I would change it to don't date someone with kids, but if you date someone with kids, be aware that you might get your heart triple broken. That would be my lesson. Because I wasn't as aware, maybe, as I should have been, that would be so heavy. Well, we went deep there. I'm almost at my friend's house. This is a very nice way of podcasting for me, because when I'm driving, I have a lot of white space. I wonder if this was very terrible to listen to. I also wonder how many life lessons were already in there. I guess I have many, 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 many more. Some of these would be take care of your finances, because you will need them. One life lesson is also, my mom used to always tell me, well, two things actually. One is, you can only do your best, which as a high achiever, I always thought was complete bullshit. But I have to give her credit. She was right, actually. You could only do your best. And sometimes it just needs to be enough. And the other one is, once you've spent it, it's gone in terms of money. So be aware of how you are spending your money. I often see this with people who start making money for the first time, clients of mine, and then they start getting a little ego trip of like, ooh, this is nice, I make lots of money now, but you're gonna need that money in the future for other things. So be mindful of how you spend money. Being abundant is not the same as spending a lot of money. Yeah, definitely that. And in terms of self-care, I think I've already said a bunch, but I think also be aware of your fat percentage and just your weight. During COVID, I really lost track of what was happening to my body under periods of high stress and lots of work. And I had to work really, 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 really hard to go back to a space of having a body that was doing well after a long period of stress. So I would say, I think if you want to build a business, sometimes you're just going to have to go through periods of hard work, and you're going to run into a wall maybe at some point, stuff like that. I don't think there's a lot of successful people out there who have actually, achieved massive success without hitting a breaking point at some point. But I would say what my cousin once told me is, once you get burnout, you're not the same anymore. And for me, I don't know if I've ever actually hit burnout. I don't think I have. I think I've always seen it just on time or in time. But I will say that the effects of stress on your body can just be honestly terrible. So pay attention to that. Get yourself a health coach. Make that one of the first investments you ever make in yourself, is investing in your health. Because when you have more energy, everything is going to be better. You're going to be more productive. Your business is going to be more fun. You're going to attract the right amount of people. Ooh, another life lesson is have lots of sex. Pay attention to your sex drive. I know this is different for everyone. Really good book about that is Come As You Are, by the way. I think it's by the Lebowski sisters. I don't know if I have the right name. But yeah, Come As You Are is a really great book. It explains your sex drive in different ways, that it's not the same for everyone. For me, I definitely know when I'm relaxed, I want to have more sex. And when I'm too stressed out or not present enough, that goes down, and it's a sign that I need to be more present, I think, in my relationship. And I think I'm gonna leave it at that. Last lesson is be present in your relationships. Your phone, like being on your phone when you're with other people, is definitely something I've done too much of in the past, and something I actively work on now. But when you are on your phone, it just makes people feel the other people feel that you are not there for them, yeah, it's just a sign that you're not fully there. Ooh, another one is when you when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Being well prepared for events, talks, workshops, podcasts, haha. It's just gonna make your life so much easier. You're gonna like planning gives you confidence. Planning is definitely a skill, and planning and prepping are just the life hacks of all life hacks. Yeah, do that. Okay. I once made a whole guide with my biggest business lessons. So if you like these tiny lessons with things that you're like, oh, you're right. Oh, I need to do that more. I have a whole business Bible with all of my life lessons. So if you want to grab that and go through some business specific lessons, download my full list. You can just go through the link in the description of this episode or DM me the word business Bible on Instagram, and I'll make sure I forward you that guide because it might save you a lot of time in your business. I briefly touched on a few business lessons in this episode. Sorry, I was crossing a road. But I think if you listen to that, if you read through the business Bible, it's going to give you a whole bunch more business lessons that you can apply rapidly to grow your business to success and profit. And after all, that's what we want because money does matter, and it might not make you happy, but it is going to make your life a whole lot easier and maybe even fun. So that's fastforwardamy.com/business Bible, or just simply DM me the word on Instagram on FastForwardAmy Business Bible, all one word, and I'll send you my business Bible with my biggest business lessons. Okay, bye bye, and thank you for listening to this probably terrible audio podcast. Haha. Let me know if I need to do this again. Like, seriously, text me on Instagram like, hey Amy, I listened to your car episode and it was fine or it was dreadful. Let me know. Oops, I forgot to add one really important lesson, which is something I never thought I'd say. This is definitely something my 16-year-old self would have never expected. But if there is one lesson I could give my 16-year-old self after these 32 years on the planet, it's that alcohol is actually toxic. And I don't judge anyone who drinks. It's just that I made the decision for myself about 2 years ago, 2 years and a half ago, to stop drinking to see what that would do to my body. And I wasn't in trouble drinking wise. It's not like I was boozing on the regular by myself or stuff like that. But for me, alcohol was just a habit. A long podcast day, celebrate with a glass of wine. Something to celebrate, long day, social event, at the dinner table. There was just always a reason to have a glass of wine. And I didn't drink in excess or anything, but it was just something, especially during the pandemic, that was always there and was very normalized in my environment, my family, my friend group. And 2 years ago, after a week long of debauchery with friends on a vacation, I was reading a book about dopamine and habits and addiction. And I wondered, am I addicted or is it a habit? And I know that this is a question that goes much further than this, is what people who struggle with substance abuse will tell you. But for me, at the time, I didn't know a lot about it. And I was like, I'm just going to see what happens to my body if I stop. So I quit drinking alcohol. And the first 2 weeks, I didn't feel amazing because it had been in my body for a really long time on the regular, at least once a week. And I just felt a huge difference after a month of not drinking. So these past 2 years and a half, I've been basically experimenting with not drinking long periods, 4 months, long stretches of 4 months, and then occasionally, like for a wedding or for Christmas, I had a glass. And I can honestly say the amount of clarity I feel not drinking, how much better I feel the day after. Even after one glass of wine, I feel the after effects the day after. I feel so much more clear. My confidence has skyrocketed. I have more urge to do fun social activities. I am less emotional. I have less emotional ups and downs, less anxiety, like less anxiety. I wish someone would have told me how bad alcohol is for your body. And again, I don't judge anyone who drinks, but if you're someone who is sober curious, this might be one of my biggest lessons from the past 32 years of drinking, and you're talking to someone or you're listening to someone who posed in pictures for her brand with glass of champagne, bottle of champagne, wine is like, I have a wine cellar. I still to this day love wine, love red wine, all of it. And I can hear you saying, I just love the taste of it and everything. Me too, girl, me too. I'm just gonna tell you, this is one of my biggest life lessons, is that alcohol is actually really, really toxic for my body and my mind. And I simply didn't know. And on that note, goodbye and talk to you next week, Tuesday.